signs say it all. When Yu Darvish is on the mound, Rangers fans have come to expect something special, and so far they have not been disappointed. Tonight, the Oakland A's get their first chance to experience Yu-mania. Coming up next on Fox Sports Southwest. A packed house on a brilliantly sunshiny evening, making their way into Rangers Ballpark in Arlington for the first of a brief two-game series between the Rangers and their nearest competition in the American League West, the Oakland A's. Jim Knox has located some Yu-maniacs.
All right, Dave, Yu Darvish fans out in full force tonight as he takes the mound against the A's. First pitch coming up next on Fox Sports Southwest. Will the U's fan do it in his native tongue? Go ahead.
アスレチックスセントルフィッシュ第1期はフォックスサウスですぐこの後
There you go.
Brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Visit your local Ford dealer and drive the 2012 F-150 Motor Trend Truck of the Year. Ford is the best in Texas. And by the Progressive Insurance Group. For a money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. And welcome, Dave Brennan along with Tom Grieve. Really interesting pitching matchup tonight between so far the top rookies in the American League. Will be Tommy Malone for the A's and another Yu Darvish night for the Rangers.
Yeah, and it gets more exciting every time he pitches, I think. We've got a sellout tonight, a Wednesday night game against the A's to watch Yu. He's coming off a start where he survived a 2-hour rain delay. We're going to look at the scouting report on him. He's 5-1. After 7 starts, his ERA is .284. It's a lot better than that if you take away the first inning of his first game. He struck out 51 in his first 7 career games. Only a handful of pitchers have ever done that. He's very calm, very reserved when he gets in trouble. With men in scoring position, 3 for the last 29.
And for more, let's send it down and welcome Emily Jones.
Well, guys, we've talked many times about expectations, and really the expectations for the Rangers within that clubhouse have not changed over the last couple of years. as professional baseball players, they've come to the park every day expecting to win that game. However, over the course of the last 2+ seasons, the fan base, the media, people around baseball have begun to change their expectations. That's part of being a successful club, and the Rangers say they'll take it, especially from their fans.
It's amazing how our fans support us, and like I said, just how they energize us and energize the ballpark, because it's so much more fun to play in a loud and I guess you could say hostile environment for the opposing team versus just those quiet nights when you feel like you can hear the crickets in the ballpark.
So with that increased intensity and that increased interest in this team, when they rattle off a couple of losses in a row, the fan base takes it that much harder, but the team will take it because that means the bar has been raised not just within the clubhouse, but also outside of it, guys.
Yeah, has it ever? To the point where every loss is taken as a surprise, almost a shock. Then you're playing pretty well. Here is the Oakland lineup that Yu Darvish will face tonight. Brought to you by Bank of America. Jemile Weeks leading off. Switch hitting second baseman. Colin Cowgill is in center. Josh Reddick having a terrific year so far. Coming over from the Red Sox is in right. Seth Smith is hitting cleanup and playing left field. The DH, Keila Kaihoe. Josh Donaldson back from AAA and playing third base. Derek Barton at first. Anthony Recker will be the catcher, and Eric Sogard will bat ninth and play shortstop.
We talked about Yu Darvish in the open. He's off to an excellent start, living up to the expectations. That's not easy to do when the expectations were as high as they were for Yu Darvish, but his game in Japan is translated to the U.S. game. In his last 26 2/3 innings, he struck out 37 batters.
Here's the Ranger defense, vowing to tighten it up after some rough nights lately. Hamilton, Gentry, and Cruz in the outfield. Beltre, Andrews, the late addition. Alberto Gonzalez for Kinsler at second. Snyder is at first. Torrealba is doing the catching. And the crew chief, Tim Welke, is behind home plate. Laz Diaz at first. Mike Everett at second and Lance Barrett at third. So these two see quite a bit of each other in the spring. First time in the regular season. For the A's, they just split 2 games in Anaheim. Both were shutouts. Their loss was 4-0. Their win was 5-0 on Monday. A little warmer than last night, still very pleasant at 87 degrees. And again, it's a strange sight to look out and see all those calm flags, but no wind factor whatsoever as we get underway with Jemile Weeks. Weeks hitting 200. Looks at a first pitch strike. He's got 2 homers, 5 runs batted in.
He's a good hitter. He's just off to a bad start, but he's due to get hot. Hopefully it won't be today and tomorrow. But he had a nice opening season last year. Not a big guy, but he's got a little bit of pop in his bat. Rangers saw that last year.
Weeks a first-round draft pick, 12th overall in 08 out of the University of Miami, native of Orlando. That's that one. Stay outside the zone, and it's 2 balls and a strike. It has been a year of contrasts for Weeks. Hitting okay at home, 253. On the road, 133. The second lowest run batting average in the American League. And 3 balls and a strike. Weeks, of course, the brother of Ricky, longtime major leaguer. That's where Darvish was looking with that previous pitch. This one ended to run the count full. And a line drive that is fair, and down the left field line it goes. Well, the time Hamilton chases down the carom, Weeks is standing with a leadoff double.
Throws a tailing fastball. It's actually a ball tailing away from him on the outside corner. And if you're a hitter and you try to pull that ball, you won't have that kind of success. So he didn't try to pull the ball. He just went the other way with it. Nice job of hitting. Josh will be battling the sun for the first half an inning. He'll probably have set by the time the A's take the field.
And here is their center fielder, Colin Cowgill. Pops his bunt back foul. Cowgill has already been back and forth from AAA Sacramento. Called up on Friday for his second stint with the A's. And he has started all 6 games since in center field. With those numbers at AAA. Still looking for his first run batted in with Oakland.
That Cowgill came over to the A's in the trade that saw Trevor Cahill go from the A's over to Arizona. They also got Ryan Cook, who's a reliever in their bullpen, and Jared Parker, who's one of their young starters.
Right through that one at 93 miles an hour. It's a ball and 2 strikes. Darvish top 4 in the league in strikeouts with 51. Just off the top with his 5 victories. And that one slashed well back into the club seats.
Well, they're seeing Darvish obviously for the first time. And when you're behind in the count and you see the curveball or the slider, the good one, for the first time, it's been a very difficult pitch for the hitters to contend with.
And another one out of play. Tom, as you reflect back to Darvish sitting out the 2-hour rain delay Friday and then coming back and giving the Rangers 5 in the 3rd, it seems more remarkable just to see anybody come back after that long of a delay, much less with the quality pitching that he had in that night.
Well, it never occurred to him that he was going to come out of that game. He doesn't have that mentality.
Slow roller to Andrews. Took a look at third, no chance there. And Cowgill has advanced Jemile Weeks.
He went back and threw every 15 or 20 minutes, 5 or 6 pitches to stay loose. And it never occurred to him that he might come out of that game. I think he was prepared to come back, whether it was 2 hours, 3 hours, or 4 hours. Now, if he had thrown 3 innings and 58 pitches, it might have been a different story. But after 1 inning, he was able to do that. And he did. He came back with pretty much the same stuff he had at the beginning.
So here is Josh Reddick. Hitting .285, 9 homers. And the longest hitting streak by any A so far this year snapped yesterday. It was at 7 games. This one is lofted to left center field, and Gentry waiting. Weeks waiting to tag and trot home and give the A's a 1-0 lead.
Well, if you're the A's challenged to score runs, you have to be thrilled that after 3 hitters, you're on the board. Reddick golfed a low fastball deep enough to center field to get the run in.
And now for Darvish, 2 outs, bases clear for the cleanup hitting left fielder Seth Smith. And it's really been already 2 completely separate seasons for Smith. His first 21 games he hit .185. His last 13, .325, with an on-base percentage of right under .450. Curve drops in for a strike. Those numbers for a Ranger would just kind of blend into the mix, but they stand out for this Oakland team. Last in the majors, hitting .217. And an Oakland team that started the year 4-7. Since then, they've gone 15-11. 15 consecutive days for Bob Melvin's crew to be in second behind Texas in the West.
The A's lineup tonight only has, coming into the game, 10 more RBIs than Josh Hamilton. Josh has 45.
It's fun to play those games with Josh's numbers, isn't it? How many teams are close to his home run total? How many is he out-homered? Another high fly ball out to left field. And no Sun involved in this catch by Josh. But the A's get on the board. 1-0. As the A's benefit from the leadoff double by Jemile Weeks. And the Bank of America Rangers batting lineup changed at the last moment. Elvis Andrus leading off as Ian Kinsler was scratched with the stomach virus, and that got Alberto Gonzalez into the lineup. Batting and playing second. Josh Hamilton is in left. Beltre at third. With Cruz again in the lineup in right field. Napoli is the DH with Torrealba catching. Brandon Snyder is at first. Night off for Michael Young with Gentry batting ninth. The Nissan scouting report on Tommy Milone.
Tommy Milone came to the A's from Washington in the trade that sent Gio Gonzalez to Washington, and he's off to a nice start. He's pitched much better at home, significantly better at home than he has on the road. While right-hand hitters haven't hit him great, left-hand hitters have had very little success. He's not a hard thrower. In that regard, he's probably a little bit like Bruce Chen, who just pitched a terrific game against the Rangers. He's got a mid-80s to upper 80s fastball and a really good changeup. And Bruce Chen gave the Rangers a lot of problems, and we'll see if Milone has any type of success like that tonight.
He does have the same profile. Tied with Darvish, most wins by rookies. Starts second in innings pitched, just behind you. 1-2 to Elvis. Top two rookies matched up here. Robbie Ross still right there at 4-0.
Yeah, you look at Wei-Yin Chen, Ricky Romero, and Drew Smiley, other left-handers the Rangers have seen. They're a little bit different because they throw harder. Chen was 92, 93. Romero that hard or a little higher. Same with Smiley. Good left-handers with good change-ups, good idea of how to pitch, but with a little more fastball than Chen or a guy like Jason Vargas from Cincinnati or Milone.
Grounder up the middle. Eric Sogard has no play, and it's a leadoff single for Elvis.
It looked like Sogard had a play. Couldn't get the ball out of his glove. It looked like couldn't get a grip on the ball. Gets to the ball. It's going to be a close play. Tries to transfer it and never got a grip on it. Base hit or an error. That's kind of play in the big leagues should be an out. It wasn't an out, and Elvis gets an infield hit.
From our official score tonight, Will Rudd. So he's aboard for Gonzalez. Alberto starting his 3rd straight. Last night he was at short, giving Elvis the night off. He looks at a first pitch strike.
Now Malone was only a 10th round draft choice coming out of the University of Southern California. And the reason was probably because his fastball didn't light up a radar gun. In fact, at Southern Cal, he had a losing record in an ERA close to 5. He's pitched better as a pro than he did in college. But really, to be a high draft choice, very seldom will you see a pitcher have a fastball less than 90 miles an hour that results in him being a high draft choice. It just doesn't happen. Doesn't mean they can't pitch. There's a lot of guys like Malone having success in the big leagues, but it won't get you a #1 draft choice.
Ball and 2 strikes to Gonzalez.
Nice play down there with a glove.
So Malone gets to pitch in his home state from Saugus High School in California before moving on to USC.
Tried to offer it to the young lady. She said no, give it to the little boy. Now he's going to go shake hands. Thank you very much.
That's how it should always be. We already have a hero. Malone, the 100th former Trojan to play in the big leagues. Steve Busby, no doubt aware of that. They've produced more future major leaguers than any school. And a line drive to Weeks. In time to first to double off Andrews.
And in third, the left fielder, number 32, Josh Hamilton.
Well, the base is empty for Hamilton.
Pretty simple play right there. Soft line drive, easy throw to first.
That was making it as close as he could. But as Diaz was right there, and here is Hamilton with a 15-game hitting streak coming in. That is the longest active streak in either league, and it's the 2nd longest of Josh's career, next to the 23-gamer he had June of 2010. And he was really showing the MVP he would be that year. A 402 average, surpassed now by David Wright of the Mets, who is at 408. But nobody near him. Homers, runs batted in. That will be a key pitch tonight from Malone if he can get Josh to swing at it.
Well, he already got a pitch that Josh fouled off by Josh that no one got by him in his streak. Got a fastball that was actually a pretty good pitch to hit.
And gets him swinging. Works around the leadoff hit by Elvis Andrus. Faces only 3, needs only 13 pitches. And time to get a check in with Jim Knox.
Thanks, Dave. Sellout crowd tonight, which includes a lot of fifth graders here in Community Corner. And there's a reason for this. The Texas Rangers Baseball Foundation have teamed up with Medical Center Arlington to help fifth graders in the area get healthier. They do that through videos. Derek Holland, the Rangers pitcher, is one of the spokespersons for this organization. To find out more, log on to texasrangers.com/fitness. Dave?
All right, Oxy, here is the DH to lead off the second. Kila Kaiahue. A slow curve for a strike. Keeler has been dealing with a lower right hamstring problem, an upper calf strain. He was scratched from their lineup Saturday. Returned yesterday, got a double in 4 trips against the Angels. And 0-2.
Slow curveball, changeup.
Darvish still working out of the stretch, which started really in early April. Seems maybe a little more deliberate tonight between pitches. Since those first 2 innings of his first start against Seattle, his ERA is 1.91. So on paper, one of these matchups that should really favor Darvish and his teammates. Then again, so did the last 2 nights. Shows you what paper is worth in major leagues. And gets Kaiahue for his first strikeout tonight.
Got a lot of pitches he can strike you out with. That's one of them right there. Breaking ball down and in. Looks like a strike until you go to swing at it.
His 51 strikeouts through his first 7 career games, most in Ranger franchise history, 7th most in Major League history going back to 1918. So he's got his first, and starts Josh Donaldson with a swing and a miss at 93. Donaldson, like Colin Cowgill, already has been down and back up from Sacramento. This is his second stint with Oakland. 0-2. Only 2 active pitchers who had more strikeouts in their first 7 career games, Kerry Wood and Steven Strasburg.
Did pretty well just to foul that pitch off. Not many guys have fouled that pitch off. No balls and 2 strikes. Slider probably a little bit out of the strike zone. In fact, a lot out of the strike zone. He was still able to foul it off. Doesn't look like much, but kept him alive in the at-bat.
From the hitter's eye view, the 0-2 pitch.
High fastball. Fouled off the slow slider, but couldn't catch up with a high fastball.
Plenty high, as it turned out. So 2 gone. And that'll bring up the first baseman, Derek Barton. And Barton really scuffling along at 185. His last 7 games, 2 for 24.
A couple of years ago, it looked like Barton was going to develop into a really nice player. He's a first baseman, but doesn't have much power. But he was the kind of guy looked like he would hit for an average, have a nice on-base percentage. He walks a lot. It just hasn't quite happened for him yet.
Well, there's a base hit. Real rarity for him of late. And the second hit for the A's off of Yu Darvish. We'd seen that pitch. Got a pretty good gauge on it. Keeps the inning going for the catcher, Anthony Recker. And he is at 160. 5 of the 9 A's starters are below the Mendoza line, and Weeks started tonight right at it at 200 before his first inning double. Month of April, the A's hit a major league low 211. That's the second worst single month in Oakland franchise history. And yet you look up, find the Bob Melvin steering them to an above 500 record, 19-18. Two balls, no strikes to record. Guys not hitting. A lot of guys injured. They've already used the disabled list 7 times.
The record's been up 25 times and struck out 11 times.
This is a long run for Hamilton. But he gets there, and that ends the top half of the second. No runs on the Barton hit. Adrian Beltre to lead off the Rangers second. Show called Chevy Hometown Kids. It's not about the score, it's about the experience. So tune in each Saturday at 10 a.m. here on Fox Sports Southwest, or visit hometownkids.tv for more information. His Little League team is the Ham Fighters. There's their coach, and no doubt really happy to be here for a Yu Darvish start. Adrian Beltre starts tonight at 298. 6 homers, 21 driven in. Boy, he terrorized Oakland pitching last year. Homered 8 times over the course of the season series. Only Ranger to have a better season series from the power perspective. A-Rod hit 9 in 2001.
A really good changeup. Right-hand hitters will see combination, pretty much fastball changeup, occasional curveball. Josh, the only left-hander in the lineup, he'll probably see a lot of curveballs, and did his first at bat.
Chop to short, and Sogard. One gone. Nothing out of the infield yet for the Rangers against Malone. Now Nelson Cruz. As rested as he's been all year, he finally got a day off after starting the first 36 games all in right field. But the swing had come around. Homered in the last 2 games he played before yesterday, after going 23 straight without going deep. Always said when he was struggling, his swing was not that far off. And turned out to be right. Another ground ball. This one to Donaldson, and the converted catcher for out number 2. Hitting the road, take the Rangers with you this season. Subscribe to MLB.tv today and see every Rangers out-of-market game live online and on your favorite devices in HD quality. Visit TexasRangers.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere. So Mike Napoli with 2 outs. He's the DH tonight. Having a good homestand. 1 for 4 yesterday, hitting .313 since the return home from Baltimore. Another first pitch strike.
Malone had a start. In fact, his first start as an A. He had 5 starts last year with Washington. His first start with the A's, 8 shutout with the A's, 8 shutout innings against Kansas City. Didn't strike out a batter. Only gave up 3 hits. Probably saw a lot of ground balls like the Rangers have hit this inning. Right-hand hitters out in front of changeups and sinkers and hitting ground balls to short and third.
Napoli takes 2 balls and a strike. And has to be encouraging for the Rangers and Napoli to see those numbers over his last 10. He scuffled for a while. 2-2. And for the A's, it's got to be encouraging to see Malone this sharp early, because all of his success so far, his best pitching has been at the Coliseum, where he's 3-0 with an .039 earned run average. On the road, it is .784. Although tonight you'd never know that, as the lowest home ERA in baseball at .039 and the 4th highest road ERA in the American League at .784. And in the second inning, he gets 3 ground ball outs. 6-3, 5-3, 4-3 on to the third. Still 1-0. West is brought to you by Geico Insurance. 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com. By the all-new Mazda CX-5 with 35 highway MPG. And by Ace Cash Express, earning your trust since 1968. Packed house at the ballpark. Dave Barnett and Tom Breeze. A's got a first inning run on a leadoff double by Jemile Weeks. He will be next up. Driven home on a Josh Reddick sac fly. Eric Sogard hitting 145. One of that group below Mendoza. 3 for his last 29 coming in.
No, I don't think any hitter really likes to face a pitcher for the first time until you kind of get an idea of what his fastball looks like, what his complementary pitches are. But Darvish has to be a nightmare the first time you see him. He's just got so many pitches. It's one thing if you face a pitcher with a fastball and a changeup and an occasional curve. But when you face a guy with variations of curves, sliders, changeups, and fastballs, different speeds, some break more than others, it's a hitter's nightmare. It has to be. You can tell by some of the swings you see, especially against his breaking balls.
Yeah, some of the swings you see from hitters that just don't ever look like that. A-Rod comes to mind. One of the worst swings you'll ever see from A-Rod. He tried to figure out where a Darvish pitch was coming. So 1 out, and here's Weeks again. He worked the count full before that leadoff double. Weeks last year hit Ranger pitching extremely well, 340. But this year, another one yet to get ignited. There goes the bat, thankfully, right into the netting.
Oh, right toward Phil Mickelson. Phil's covered by the nets. Probably happy that he is, too. Phil and his caddy, both with Ranger hats on down there. That's something you don't have to contend with in golf. Bats flying at you.
You've never seen a club thrown? You've never thrown one yourself?
I've seen them thrown after the swing, not during the swing.
I've actually seen both. Popped up. Out into center field to Craig Gentry.
Phil, of course, is in town for the Byron Nelson, which is this week.
Center fielder Colin Cowgill.
Huge all-around sports fan. Taking it in on the front row. Now, Cowgill, the batter, he grounded to short his first time up. Tom Candiotti told me one time, Tom, that good friends with Phil Mickelson, living in Phoenix, and they drove by a baseball diamond, and Phil Mickelson insisted that they get out, and he was going to prove to Candiotti that if he wanted to, he could have been a Major League Baseball player. Wow. As a pitcher.
Oh, as a pitcher?
Yeah.
Wow.
And so Tom kind of humored him. Gave him his workout, and he disagreed. He did not think that Phil could have been a Major League pitcher.
I really suspect no matter who it is.
Off the glove of Beltre, and Cowgill is aboard.
If it's, I don't know what year that was, but let's say it's 10 years after you might have been a high school pitcher and a really good young pitcher.
This was about 10 years.
If you haven't practiced, and all of a sudden you're going to show someone that you used to be a good pitcher, it's probably going to be very difficult to do.
Well, Candyman enjoyed it. He enjoyed Phil's genuine enthusiasm for the game.
Did Tom pick up a golf club and say, I wanted to be a pro golfer, and go out and take a couple of swings?
No. No. He knew where his talents would lie. Josh Reddick drove in their first inning run, sacrifice fly. Right off some padding, fortunately. Corby shaking it off, 0-2. Game that figured to be low scoring.
Fans are feeling it. They know there's 2 strikes, looking for a strikeout right here.
These 2 pitching staffs 1-2 in the American League. The earned run average, Rangers 324, Oakland right behind him 347. They have thrown 5 shutouts, tying the Angels for the Major League lead. And down swinging this time is Reddick. 4th strikeout for Darvish.
Today we got a special guest here, actor Gary Sinise on hand, because tonight's a big night at the ballpark. Gary, you're a big part in honoring the military, and tonight the Rangers honored close to 1,000 veterans. You're a big part in raising money and a big spokesperson for the military. What was your message tonight?
Well, the message is to do everything we can for our veterans. We have a lot of returning veterans that are looking for jobs. We have wounded warriors out there that need help. Obviously, they've got special needs they're going to have for the rest of their lives. My foundation, Gary Sinise Foundation, you can go to GarySiniseFoundation.org and learn about our Building for America's Bravest program. We're building homes for very severely wounded warriors, and Andy has a wonderful Vets to Work program that he's doing to get veterans jobs. Very, very important.
Very good. All right, Andy, we appreciate your work. We also have American Airlines out here tonight, big part of that. Gary, good seeing you. Keep up the great work. Appreciate it. Dave?
What a treat it was to meet Lieutenant Dan himself before the game. What a really nice guy. He's going to get the Lieutenant Dan band cranking up with a few dates starting next week.
The first year that I worked for the Rangers after having been a player was 1980. And I was the director of group ticket sales. And Andy is Andy Wimpy. Andy headed up the Kelly Services group back then, and he regularly would bring every year about 1,000 people to the ballpark. And here it is, however many years later, and he's still working with groups and still coming out to Ranger ball games. So it's great to see Andy as part of Gary's group that's at the ballpark today. What a wonderful cause, and I know the Rangers are proud to be a part of it.
After the Torrealba ground out, here's Brandon Snyder. And Gary Sinise did the honors first pitch tonight.
Needs to work on it on his first pitch a little bit, but You know, it's a little down and away. You got a good sense of humor anyway.
Line drive through the hole. And Snyder is aboard with 1 out.
Dave, it's also been a banner day in the suite department.
Has it?
I've got a few to go through today. Take a look at Brandon's fastball that he rips into left field. We got a great batch of cookies from Karen Wade, Abby, and Jake. Karen runs her own catering company. Thank you for the cookies, Karen. Also, I don't have a last name, but Fern and Beverly are here because Fern's daughter Pamela in Virginia sent tickets for Mother's Day. They're happy to be here, and they sent up some pretzel candy and chocolate cake. Thank you very much for that. And George and Ellen Russell sent up a healthy batch, sugar-free oatmeal cookies. Very good. Thank you, George and Ellen.
You barely even started,
I'm
haven't
just
you?
kind of in the middle of it right now.
1-0 to Gentry is fouled off. Continue, please.
Also had a really good batch of pecan chocolate chips, snickerdoodles, oatmeal raisin from Ashley Randall and Melissa Bennett from Tyler, Texas. Looks like they run their own bakery in Tyler, Texas. So Ashley and Melissa, the cookies were delicious. Thank you very much. They went in a hurry. Nelda Tidwell from Hillsboro, Texas, sent up some Ranger Rolos and some Heath Butter pecan cookies. They were a lot like Radigan's Radical cookies from MR Pigs that we got last year. Same type of a cookie. Appreciate that very much.
John Radigan has his own.
He has his own cookie named after him.
Very impressive.
Radigan's Radicals, I think they were called.
Gentry lays down a bunt and a good one.
I was hoping that the catcher would throw that ball because he had no chance to get Gentry, and maybe he throws it away. He didn't, but he also didn't get Gentry, who's on first base with a base hit. And Craig is so quick out of the box and has such speed, it doesn't have to be a perfect bunt for him to beat it out. There's a lot of guys that don't come close to beating that ball out. But Craig has the luxury, because of his speed, not to need a perfect bunt.
Craig Gentry running in slow motion looks about as fast as your average major leaguer in regular speed.
The last batch of cookies, Dave, comes from Ada, Oklahoma. They are Oklahoma's finest cookies from Carrie and Randy. Again, don't have a last name, but I bet everybody in Ada, Oklahoma knows who Carrie and Randy are based on their tremendous cookies that they bake.
Corners in on the grass on the first pitch. Andrews flies to Reddick in right field, and he's got an arm.
They might even know my former roommate for many years, Jackie Brown, the Oklahoma curveball that pitched for the Rangers and lives nearby. A little bit off the end of the bat. Elvis tried to drive the ball to right field, but still got out a little bit in front of it and hit it off the end of the bat. So to all the people that sent the cookies and sweets tonight, thank you very much. They're in the press box. Some of the fans got them. Visitors to the booth were treated to the cookies tonight. Thank you very much. I might remind everybody too, Dave, that we can't really come right out and name your business. That would probably not go over very well with our employers. So we'll do our best to get the thanks out there, but we'll have to kind of talk around the businesses.
Alberto Gonzalez with 2 outs. First time up, smashed a line drive to Weeks, who turned it into a double play. So he threw behind Andrews, who had led off with an infield hit. Weeks sneaking in behind the bag, alone to the plate.
And as we do maybe once a month, we'll remind the people who just can't stand to hear the talk about the cookies. They just hate it. I'll just remind you, it's not going away, so just learn to deal with it. And when you hear it starting, maybe turn down the sound, maybe go get a drink out of the refrigerator, maybe go to the restroom. It's not going to last long. You won't miss a pitch.
Popped off the fists, and Wrecker right in front of the wall.
And it has nothing to do with what happens during the game. Like, it doesn't give bad luck to anybody.
Never apologize for being polite. Southwest brought to you by Mooyah. Play the How Do Ya Mooyah instant win game, and you could win a $1,000 Mooyah gift card. By Gum Out, cleaning since 1945. And by Men in Black, in theaters May 25th. Fourth inning. Front of the sellout is 1-0 on a first inning run for the Oakland A's. Smith, Kaihue, and Donaldson. Against Yu Darvish, who has scattered 3 hits, 1 per inning. Smith ended the first by flying out to left field. Former Colorado Rocky. Smith last year in their regular outfield rotation. Some solid numbers at 284, 15 home runs. Came over for Guillermo Moscoso and Josh Outman. 1-2.
Looked like a two-seam fastball, a sinker at 89 miles an hour. Variation of his fastball. That was a good look at a curveball. Stayed outside.
And Darvish right at 50 pitches now, 33 for strikes. 2-2 pitch, grounded foul. We talked about some of the things that the A's have overcome. Rangers, a team yet to need the DL. The A's have used it 7 times already. They have 6 players currently on the shelf. Some important people. Coco Crisp, rookie from Cuba, Yoenis Cespedes. Joey Devine, Scott Sizemore, both out for the year. Devine with Tommy John surgery, Sizemore ACL. All last year they used the DL 15 times, almost halfway there.
in a month and a half.
Well, it's difficult when your team that doesn't score many runs to have a couple of your key offensive players on the disabled list. But you have to give Bob Melvin and the A's a lot of credit for the way they're playing right now.
That one bounces right over the mound and fielded by Andrews for the first out. Rangers Ballpark suite rentals are the perfect business solution for hosting clients or employees. And suites can turn a game with family and friends into a special occasion for your group of 10 to 200 to watch a Rangers game in style. Visit TexasRangers.com/suites or call 972-RANGERS. That could be your vantage point from Rangers Ballpark. One gone in the fourth. Kai Hue struck out, the first of 4 through the first 3 innings for Darvish. Keeler from Hawaii. His father, Kala, played 11 years in 4 different systems, all in the minors. He's got a brother, Kala Jr., also has played in 4 different organizations. His sister, a great volleyball player at the University of Hawaii. That one finds the edge. 2 balls and a strike. This one, Darvish fields himself for out number 2.
That wasn't an impossible play, but one thing to remember about Darvish, he is a terrific fielder, too.
Our 4-game summary. Weeks led off the first with the double. 2 batters later scored on the Reddick sac fly. The numbers for Darvish impressive. Have to get any run support. And with 2 outs here in the fourth, it'll be Josh Donaldson. He struck out his first time up. Catcher turned third baseman this year, up from Sacramento Saturday. This is 4th straight start at third. Strike at the knees. Donaldson came over from the Cubs organization when Rich Harden went to Chicago, July of 2008. Former Auburn Tiger. 2-1. This one has Cruz back near the track for out number 3. First 1-2-3 inning for Yu Darvish. Jemile Weeks set a new Oakland record for most hits in his first 100 career games. Who was the previous record holder? There is a local connection here. Bottom of the fourth, Hamilton, Beltre, and Cruz. Tom Malone struck out Josh his first time up to end the first inning.
Well, it's been a good start for Malone. Given up a couple of infield hits, one a bunt, one hard hit ball, Snyder's line drive to left field.
This one past Malone, and Hamilton is in there as Sogard, playing right at the bag, raced in. Even if he had picked it cleanly, didn't look like he had any kind of play. And Josh extends the hitting streak now to 16 games.
Now once it gets by the pitcher, it's all over. Well, Elvis had an infield hit to lead off the game. Gentry had a bunt. Josh adds to that list with 3 infield hits now. So far, Malone is definitely keeping the Ranger hitters off balance, keeping them from getting the good part of the bat on the ball with a pretty good mixture of fastballs and changeups.
Deep drive, right field. Reddick climbs the wall. He can't get that one, and the Rangers take the lead.
And eventually, after you've seen it, you wait on the changeup and drive it out of the ballpark.
This is only the third ball the Rangers have gotten out of the infield all night against Tommy Malone.
First time they've seen Malone. Left-hander with a really good changeup. Beltre, the first time up, was out in front of a ball that he grounded out to shortstop, but he waited out at that time and drove the changeup the opposite way. Down on one knee and out it goes.
For Beltre, number 7 with that classic signature finish of his. 371 feet. And 2-1 Texas. Nelson Cruz grounded to third his first time up. Let's that one go. Rangers needed just the first 2 pitches of this inning to get the lead. Hamilton and Beltre both pulling the trigger. Eric Sogard, the 360 spin to throw off the front of the Rangers dugout, and Cruz is aboard.
Well, that's base hit. I don't think he would have got him anyway. And he would have had to make a nice play, spinning all the way around to fire it like that. Has to go far to his left, spin all the way around, comes back and throws. And would he have had him? I don't think so. That's base hit.
And a base hit it is, the Rangers' 3rd infield hit.
4th if you count the bunt.
Only ones that have gotten out of the infield. Snyder's single and Beltre's pass down to Emily Jones.
Well, guys, I asked Nelson Cruz about the Rangers' approach at the plate. He said we just need to be a little bit more patient and take what the pitcher is giving us. And tonight it appears to be infield singles.
However you get base runners. That's a very impressive young rookie pitcher. Mike Napoli grounded to second his first trip. And it's just an every night thing now, and practically in every at-bat event for Mike Napoli to hear his chant. That was thunderous, ringing around the ballpark in the postseason last year.
Got a good ring to it, too.
Yes,
I think the fans enjoy it.
Good rhythm.
Yep.
Might do for a home run. That's 7. They mostly came in a bunch last month. Only 1 in his last 21 games, none in his last 16. That can't keep going much longer. 2-2. Against lefties, Rangers second in average, 18 homers the most, third with 40 extra base hits. That was the 6th homer allowed so far this year by Malone. And a 2-2, he gets Napoli swinging. Out number 1, strikeout number 2. Play the Texas Lottery. The estimated annuitized jackpot is $90 million. So with 1 out is Yorvi Torrealba. He also grounded to second his first trip. First action for Yorvi last night since took the Pujols follow through off his side of his head, took a head contusion. Napoli quickly slid in behind the plate. Now for Torrealba. Looking to advance Cruz. And he did check his swing, as Diaz confirms. Looked like he got it right.
He's definitely kept the Rangers off balance. There's been a couple of good swings. Beltre's was one. Snyder hit his ball well to left field, but other than that, they've been waving at that changeup. Very effective with it.
Tom Malone's given up a few home runs, but he has hit one too. In his first major league at bat.
Wow.
Last September off Dylan G of the Mets. And it was a long one over the right field wall for the Nationals. And at AAA Syracuse last year at 346. Been a twinge of disappointment for Malone not to be in the hitting league for pitchers. Getting the results with that 5-2 record. ERA just under 4.
Pretty remarkable the success that he's having. When you look at USC where he pitched, he was 16-17 with a 4.78 ERA. That's in college.
All 4. And his first walk. So Cruz to second. And Brandon Snyder up. He singled a hard shot through the hole his first trip. And the pitching coach Kurt Young out to the mound as Rangers will try to get their mojo back with runners in scoring position. Monday only had 2 opportunities, but went 0 for 2 against the Bruce Chen. 1 for 5 Tuesday. So far tonight 0 for 2. So for the week 1 for 9 with 2 runs batted in with runners in scoring position as Cruz is now. Brandon Snyder last night pinch hitting 2 outs in the 9th inning.
That was a night last night. The ball wasn't really carrying that well to left field. There was a number of balls hit well to left field that ended up around the warning track. Well, he really smoked that one.
First home run The other two came on the last road trip, first of his career in Toronto and Baltimore. So 2 on with 1 out. Chance to add to the lead. Built on the Beltre homer. And that was not a foul ball, so the runners will advance.
Well, that bounced off of the catcher. Sure looked like a foul ball. He just missed that ball. That ball hit off the top of his glove.
Pass ball charged to Anthony Recker.
A's are going to move the infield in mostly. Not quite all the way in at shortstop. But now if you're Brandon, you just need to make some contact. Get the ball in the air, hit it to the outfield. Pick up another run. Big run here in a low-scoring game.
Base hit would be huge against a really offensively challenged group. Ball and a strike for Brandon. Not deep at all. Racing in is Cowgill. And he makes the catch, and a crowd out there for out number 2.
He just barely made that catch. Only need the 2 out here to bring in a run. Hate to waste an opportunity in a 1-run ball game. Brandon just got underneath that ball, popped it straight up, stab in the dark right there by Cowgill. But made the catch. That's all that counts.
A smile of relief. Cruz still at third. Torrealba still at second. And here's Craig Gentry.
And the reason the infielders didn't go back and catch that ball is because they were playing in. Well, it looked like a simple play for the infielders. They had to go back a little farther because of how closely to home plate they were.
Gentry in the third. A bunt single. Looks at strike 1. Hitting well continues now for a good long while. Last 20 games, hitting .327. 9 runs batted in. Malone having to work here in the inning. That's his 21st pitch. He's up to 60 for the night. 37 strikes. Rangers out hitting the A's 6-3. Half the Texas hits here in the 4th. And that will nub foul. 1-2. Tomorrow afternoon, final game of the series in the homestand. Reserve seats gone. 1 o'clock start. And it'll match Matt Harrison and the former Ranger Brandon McCarthy, who is really pitching well. Won 3 straight starts. Matt will be looking for his 5th win. Where Darvish and Malone already are. 1-2 to Gentry. Roll to Donaldson. He popped and he got it there late. Cruz comes home.
You can't take too much time when you've got Gentry running. Again, most players are out by a number of steps on that play. But Gentry flies down. It's not that they didn't know that. They saw him fly down to first base on the bunt that he beat out. But this extra move right here, patting the ball in the glove, was all it took for Gentry to get an RBI and the 5th Ranger infield hit of the ball game.
Fortunately for the Rangers, it's a guy learning the position, the converted catcher. So Gentry drives in his 10th run of the year, makes it 3-1, and back up to the top of the order. And Andrews, who started this whole trend with a leadoff infield single, last time up fly to right. 5 infield hits, 3 in this inning alone by Hamilton, Cruz, and now Gentry.
Let's watch the play as he gets ready to throw. It looked like he popped it in his glove before the runner went by, but that can be distracting as you go to throw to first base. We're going to have Mark McLemore on. We'll ask him about that. How distracting that is as you go to throw to first base with a runner running right straight in front of you like that.
Well, he just had no margin for error with Gentry's speed. Death by 1,000 paper cuts from Malone here. Long ball by Beltre. Only one other ball out of the infield, and barely on the pop up by Snyder. And 0-2 to Elvis.
Death by 1,000 paper cuts. Man, that's a terrible thought.
It wouldn't feel very good.
That's terrible.
See? He's sitting
Like not 900, but 1,000 it takes.
That's the official number.
I don't even want one.
Through the hole, another base hit. And another run scores. Torrealba is home. It's 4-1.
Well, Elvis hung in there, kept hacking away. Looked like another changeup. He looked like he was way out in front of it, but he actually kept his hands back, even though his body's out there. And he gets the good part of the bat on the ball. Didn't look like the best swing, but the results are pretty nice. Line shot into left field.
RBI number 18 for Elvis. 26 pitch inning as the Rangers bat around with Alberto Gonzalez, who is lined into a double play and fouled out to the catcher Recker.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm smiling now because Mark McLemore is right behind me, and he pointed down to the runners on base right now and predicted the double steal. And Gentry just left a little bit too soon because that's exactly what was about to happen. Nice call, Mac.
Not much gets by him.
Doesn't mean it won't happen again.
Well, not here and inside of Gonzalez.
The Rangers love that play too. Ron Washington not afraid to put that on. No matter how many outs there are, he'll try it. Boy, it has been a tough inning for Malone. Three infield hits in one inning.
Weeks in again behind the bag.
Looked like he'd had Gentry grounding out to third to end the inning and keep it a 2-1 game. And that's where speed comes into play. Craig just beat that ball out to first base. He's got a bunt hit, a ground ball to third, and an RBI for a hit.
And Wash will say, people always ask him about having such a power-laden team. Those are the kind of plays he loves. Making the most of the situation. This will come down eventually to Sogard. 28 pitch inning, 4 runs, 5 hits, 3 of which never left the infield. This one by Beltre did. His 7th home run, key a 4-run 4th inning for the Rangers. question. Jamile Weeks set a new Oakland record for most hits in his first 100 career games. Whose record did he break? Well, how about Ben Grieve? 122 hits in his first 100 games. You knew that, right, Dad?
You know, I didn't really remember it, but I recall it because I think that might have been a trivia question right after he did it last year. I might be wrong on that. Somehow I did know that. Or maybe it was in their notes. It might have been where it was.
Mark McLemore has joined us. The offense preceded you today.
It did. They knew I was coming, so they thought they'd get a head start before I actually sat down.
Maybe you can continue it.
Let's see. I hope so.
You try hard every night. First up, Derek Barton, bottom third of the order after a long rest for Darvish. And Barton singled his first time up.
Mac, we were talking in the last inning on the ball that Gentry hit to third. Right as the third baseman was getting to throw the ball, the runner ran right in front of him. Is that a distracting thing for an infielder? You ever have to contend with that?
Yeah, but it's usually if that runner is right there in front of you where he may hit the ball if the ball pops up. I don't think that was the case in that instance. I just think the third baseman didn't know who was running. He didn't know how fast Gentry was. Yeah.
Right.
Because he fielded it nice and calm and smooth, and then he looked up, and you could see when he looked up, he realized Gentry's down the line.
Trouble.
Yeah, and he tried to fire it. He's got a great arm, but just a little bit too late on that one.
Yeah.
The catcher's arm helped him, but the fact that till very recently he was a catcher, that worked against Josh Donaldson there. Backhand pick, Gonzalez, and with a nice stretch by Snyder, they get Barton.
I'll say, two guys getting a spot start tonight combined on a nice play. Alberto got the spot start after Ian was scratched right before the game. Brandon was in the lineup. Nice play all the way around.
This is a really tough play for a second baseman. Going down, twisting his body one way, catching the ball coming up and throwing it back behind him. Very difficult, but he makes it look easy.
How often, Mac, during the season, do you practice that play? Do you practice that? And when you're batting practice, when you're taking your ground balls?
You have to practice it. I practiced it every day I took ground balls, and I didn't take ground balls every day. But the days that I took it, I would take balls going to my left and, into the hole, make the spin throw, go into the right, do the jump throw once or twice, the play coming in. I really feel that you have to practice those things just in case you have to do them in the game. If you don't practice them, it's going to be that much more difficult to perform that play in the game. And you have to practice them at game speed. You can't go out there and 50, 60% like I see a lot of guys taking ground balls during batting practice.
Now, how about you personally, going left or going right? What was your strength? Did you shade one way or the other because you felt you had an advantage to your left or right?
I would really shade to my right, and not because I had an advantage. My arm was pretty strong, but the difficult throw was going anything towards a left field. So if I shade that way, I have the possibility of planning and making a throw. So I'd give them a little bit more to my left because I could get to my left quicker. My first few steps were pretty quick, so I could get to pretty much anything, and it was a shorter throw.
Right.
So I would shade up the middle just a little bit.
Strikeout number 5. Rucker is down swinging.
Did you ever watch second basemen around the league or before when you were a kid and model yourself after the way they play? Any certain plays they had or the way they turned a double play?
Oh, when I was a kid, I was 3 guys. I was Davey Lopes, Gary Templeton, and Ozzie Smith, all rolled into one.
No wonder you got to the big leagues.
Well, advantage growing up in San Diego, right?
You're right. I got
to see all those guys.
I sure did. I was a huge Dodgers fan, so watching Davey Lopes, Ron Cey, Bill Russell, Steve Garvey, Steve Yeager, Rick Monday, Reggie Smith, Dusty Baker, watching all those guys. Let's see, the rotation, Bert Hooton, Don Sutton. Got to play with Don Sutton as well. So, yes, I was a huge Dodgers fan.
And what was it like for you growing up, kind of idolizing those players when you played against them, with them, or met them after you became a professional?
Breathtaking.
I was the same way.
Yeah, I walked in, I think the first guy I got to see.
High pop up.
Save the answer.
I'll save that, yeah.
down to Elvis. Another 1-2-3 inning on just 11 pitches for Yu Darvish. A dink by Hamilton, followed by a drive by Beltre. Viewed it from one knee as it sailed 371 feet to give the Rangers a lead, but just a start on what would become a 4-run fourth. The man who started it leads off to fifth. Right over the ship. Base hit number 2 for Hamilton. Again on the first pitch.
Well, the changeup, a little bit out in front of it. His balls off the end of the bat look like some players' line drives.
Mine.
Yeah, I'm kind of including myself in there too.
Adrian Beltre also was first ball hitting last time up. First time he grounded to short. Average now back over 300 for Adrian. Mac, we're going to let you finish your story.
Well, let's see.
We're talking about all the idols you had growing up, and what was it like when you finally got to meet him as a pro?
Well, the first guy that I actually met, I was still in AAA, and it was the winter before my first big league camp. I was 19 years old, and
could be 2 here. Sogard, Weeks to Barton. We'll get back to it. First, back to our Fox Sports Southwest studio, Mazda CX-5 game break. Here's Neil Beasley. All right, and Nelson Cruz.
Talk fast, Mac.
I'll finish it quick. I just happened to live in the same condominium complex as Gary Templeton's mother-in-law.
Oh.
And I saw him drive in one day, and I was like, that's not Gary Templeton. That's not Gary Templeton. And it was. And I didn't know that it was his mother-in-law. And
how old were you?
19 years old. And so for 3 weeks, I watched him come and go and didn't say a word. And finally, I was sitting outside, and he came over one day and walked down to my place, saw me sitting out there, and his mother-in-law told him, and I was in awe. And, so that was my first idol that I got to meet. So we always opened up our road portion of spring training with the Angels we would start in Yuma, where the Padres were at the time. So we got to Yuma, and my entire family came over from San Diego, and Gary tracked me down and said, hey, come on, kid, let's go with me to the racetrack. And my family was so impressed.
Wow, that's great.
Is there more?
You got to say something. Say something tomorrow.
Later. I've got plenty more, believe me.
We'll pick up here tomorrow.
Sounds good.
Bookmark. Through 5, 4-1 Rangers. Fan guide for a chance to win a VIP experience for 2 this year at a World Series game. It's presented by Scotts, the official lawn care company of Major League Baseball. 6th inning in the top of the order. Weeks, Cowgill, and Reddick. Yu Darvish has retired 7 straight. Weeks responsible for the Oakland run. Led off the first with the double, scoring on the Josh Reddick sacrifice fly. I can't wait for story time with Mac tomorrow now.
Yeah, Mac's got a good story about Gary Templeton for tomorrow.
And Ozzie Smith.
Yep.
Beltre in on the grass at third. Ball 2. I will never forget when I first met my baseball idol, because you were so nice to me. I was so nervous.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Still a little in awe.
Well, you think back what it would have been like when you were a teenager to meet your idol, and I probably would have felt the exact same way Mac did. Let's see if he can come back and get him. 3 balls and no strikes. Hadn't walked the batter yet.
A little bit low, and now he has. Let's check in with Jim Notts.
All right, Dave, 2 of the biggest Yu Darvish fans right here. This is Tack, this is Mika. He's the one that created the big U right here. How long did that take you to make, Tack?
It took me about half a day to make this.
All right, very nice. You also have a lot of relatives in Japan. What's the mood going on over there, knowing that Yu's doing so well here in the States?
Oh, this is so exciting. Not only here in Japan, everybody's watching it. My parents are watching, my grandparents are watching it. This is the story of the year in Japan right
here.
There
we go. And Mika, I understand you got a pretty good U chant. Let's hear it.
Yeah!
Not bad. All right, good to have you out here. They're here every time Yu Darvish pitches, Dave.
That's becoming a tougher and tougher ticket, too. Congrats to them. Colin Cowgill is grounded out and singled. In fact, his 2-out single in the 3rd. The last of the 3 hits allowed by Darvish.
There probably aren't too many crowds of 46 or 7,000 tonight around baseball. Pretty remarkable. The way the fans have turned out, the way they've responded to the team. The players don't take that for granted either. You can ask any player around the batting cage or in the clubhouse. They love to play in front of an enthusiastic crowd, a packed house. Doesn't guarantee that you're going to win the game, but it sure gives the players a great feeling to see the fans behind them like this. Tremendous.
And Tom, you've got to think, even the A's, even though no one's rooting for them, but they have to enjoy this. They draw less than 20,000 a game in the Coliseum. Andrews steps on the bag to start the double play.
Yeah, I think as an opposing team, when you come into this kind of an environment, you love it. It gives you more incentive. They go from here. I think they play the Giants coming up too. They'll go to the Giants, and it'll be a packed house there as well.
Oh, that's a 1-6-3 double play.
It looked like he deflected it a little bit.
Deflected it right to a shortstop to erase the walk and bring up Reddick with the bases empty. Sac fly followed by a strikeout in the third. We have seen swings like that so often already in 8 starts from Darvish.
He just takes something off the changeup, the curveball, almost to make it look like a changeup. Then occasionally he'll throw it harder. 4 or 5 miles an hour difference. So even though it's the same pitch, it's a curveball, the variations in the speed that he throws it gives the hitter an entirely different look. Disrupts their timing, which is really what it's all about.
$83 pitches, 50 strikes for you. 5 strikeouts. All 3 hits were in the first 3 innings, and the 1 walk this inning. 2-2. So far, he has never walked fewer than 2, and he's only had 2 games with that few walks. So step up in command tonight for Darvish. And another strikeout. There's number 6, 1 per inning. $11 pitches, all he needed in the 5th, just 13 here in the 6th. Jackpot is worth $700 and dinner for two at a Sonic Drive-In. Tonight, the Rangers are hitting for Terry Whitehouse Jr. from Gunter. If a Ranger hits a grand slam during this inning, Terry Whitehouse Jr. wins $25,000. You can register at any participating Sonic restaurant. And it is Napoli, Torrealba, and Snyder in the Rangers' sixth. Mike is grounded to second and struck out. Malone needed 28 pitches in the 4-run fourth, only 8 in the fifth, which included a leadoff single by Hamilton, but then was followed up by the double play grounder from Beltre. About to throw his 78th pitch, 49 strikes so far. 9 hits, 5 of them in that fourth inning. And 2 strikeouts.
We've seen a lot of examples of it this year, already this season, of pitchers who don't light up a radar gun, don't throw 95 miles an hour, but who know how to pitch. And it's just a great example that that type of pitcher can be successful even in the big leagues. Malone's a great example. His fastball is 86 to 88 miles an hour. He essentially is pitched to the right-hand hitters with a fastball and a changeup, and with good command of it, he's had some pretty good success. The Rangers have 4 runs against him, but I think all the Ranger hitters would say that he's kept them off balance and pitched a nice game tonight.
Napoli down on strikes for the second time. Now Torrealba. He's grounded to second. And contributed a walk and a run scored to the Ranger fourth. Tom Malone coming off a really impressive performance Friday, beating the Tigers 11-4. He went 7 innings, allowing only 2 runs, one of which was unearned on 5 hits, 6 strikeouts. Looked like he might be headed toward the same kind of night into the fourth, and then the Rangers finally started pecking away in an inning that included 3 infield hits and the Beltre home run and the Torrealba walk. Pop back off his fists.
We were talking about all the injuries that the A's have had. Scott Sizemore, who they got in a trade with the Tigers, was supposed to be the third baseman this year. He's missed the whole season with an injury. It's not easy to shuffle players in and out. Cliff Pennington's their regular shortstop. He's just getting the night off tonight, evidently. Kurt Suzuki, regular catcher, is also getting the night off tonight.
Eric Sogard for out number 2. Here's Emily.
A lot of star power in the house tonight. You guys talked about Gary Sinise and also Phil Mickelson. The popular hip-hop artist B.O.B. was in the clubhouse before the game. This goes to show you how popular these Rangers are. And my favorite B.O.B. song is Airplanes. I'm just wondering, Dave and Tom, what your favorite B.O.B. song is?
That's mine too, Em.
I thought it might be. Dave?
You know, I like too many to make
narrow
a
it down to
selection.
just one.
Yeah, that's just not fair.
Yeah,
not fair to them.
I hear you.
What was her name again?
Yeah. His name is B.O.B. And if you guys were on Twitter, you would learn about these things because Elvis Andrus and Mike Napoli both tweeted pictures of themselves with B.O.B.
I saw Derek Holland getting his picture taken with Gary Sinise before the game, so a lot of opportunities for photos tonight.
Absolutely. So with that, we appeal to our younger demographic,
I got
fellas.
You. See, I can kind of identify with Gary Sinise a little bit, also Phil Mickelson.
Not so much B.O.B.
Well,
huh, Tom?
I don't have anything against B.O.B. I just, I'm not familiar with his repertoire, really.
Yeah.
But there's probably not many people my age that are. Just a guess. Just
I heard
a guess.
that. That's why we've got you, Emily.
Did you meet him?
I did not. I was actually upset about it because I did want to meet him and I wanted to get my picture made with him. I know that's cheesy, but I really did.
Do you call him Bob?
No, I don't know what I would have called him, but I actually sent a text message inside the clubhouse asking if he was still in there, and I wanted to arrange a meeting, and it just didn't work out for me. I probably shouldn't admit that on the air, but I am.
Snyder grounding out to Weeks in a 1-2-3 6th inning. Tom Malone, Darvish back to work.
You buy your Texas Ford dealers. Drive the 2012 F-150 Motor Trend Truck of the Year. Ford is the best in Texas. By AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. And by Jack in the Box. Right now, you can try Jack's value deal for just $349 plus tax.
Seventh inning starts with a strike to Seth Smith. He is fly to left and grounded to short. And Yu Darvish has really been stacking up the outs. He gave up his third and most recent hit back in the third inning to Cowgill. Since then, the only base runner was Weeks on his leadoff walk last inning, quickly erased by the double play and another strikeout. 87 pitches, 54 for strikes. Tom, we've seen you rack up a lot of strikeouts when he really only had one pitch working, the curve in Cleveland. He's had pretty close to the full arsenal, maybe as full as we've yet seen it so far tonight. Into the gap, run down by Gentry.
You could see that coming. That was where speed takes over. That was a well-hit ball by Seth Smith. And it was actually slicing away from Craig. But he got a good jump on it. He just basically outruns this ball. Nice play. Saw Gerard Dyson for Kansas City make a couple of plays like that. You can't beat speed. Craig's speed has been on display tonight. Beat out a bunt, beat out a ground ball to third for an RBI, and ran down potential extra base hit right there.
Yeah, 2 for 2, a run batted in, and nothing out of the infield. But that kind of plays into Gentry's gifts. Numbers like that. So 1 out for Kaihue. He's 0 for 2. He is struck out and grounded back to Darvish. We've talked about how Oakland is so far the least offensive team in baseball, hitting .217. So not like he's facing the Red Sox, but still something to watch Darvish as in command as he has been tonight.
The A's have won 6 out of their last 10. They've played good baseball. They came into the game 19-18 with a lot of injuries, not scoring a lot of runs. But it's a lot of credit to their ball club that they've still been able to win games without scoring many runs.
One of the better swings against him tonight, but it's foul.
One thing they really miss with Cespedes is the potential for one swing in a big inning because of his power. He actually won a couple of games for the A's late in the game because of his power. Well, they miss him in the middle of the lineup, having that home run threat. Almost waiting on the off-speed pitch, but still pulling it way foul. Nice play out there in a spot where you don't expect to get a foul ball. Did he barehand it? Sure did. Nice play.
Well done. High fives well deserved there. Elsewhere in the division, Seattle is at Cleveland, batting in the 8th and trailing 9-3. And just about to get underway, the Angels hosting the White Sox. Gavin Floyd against Jerome Williams. Oakland 4 back beginning play. The Angels 7 back. Seattle 7.5. One hopper. And Snyder never hurried, never panicked. Just fed his pitcher for out number 2. And here's our Jimmy John's delivery of the game.
Breaking ball for a strikeout, a high fastball, good overhand curveball, another high fastball, another fastball, and a sinker down and away. Probably more strikeouts with his fastball tonight than in other games. He's thrown some good two-seam fastballs that have been between 89 and 91 miles an hour that have had good sinking action on them.
Josh Donaldson struck out his first time up. Last time he flied to right.
Another high fastball.
No balls and 2 strikes. Has retired 11 of the last 12 A's he has faced. '98th pitch. I think it was in Detroit when he started pitching out of the stretch the entire game, and really stuck with that. He experimented with it in spring training, and Mike Maddox talked with him about it and having to alter his windup a little bit. But boy, this has been working. So why would you change it?
Yeah, the way the results have come out, I don't know why you would change. I think a lot of pitchers feel they have slightly better stuff from the windup, a little more power. But if you're comfortable doing it and you're pitching the way he's pitching, I don't know why you'd change.
And there was pitch number 100. Donaldson still alive. Said after coming back after the long rain delay and pitching well into that game the next day, didn't feel any extra fatigue or strain, not even a factor. One of the highest average pitch counts in baseball, past 100 pitches, but the A's having no more success against him as the game wears on, and it's stretch time in Arlington. Has put together 4 runs on 9 base hits. Josh Hamilton has 2 of them. He now has a 16-game hitting streak. They'll trade the big one, the 2-run homer, to get the 4-run fourth started. Gentry has personified small ball with a bunt single in the 3rd and an RBI and an infield hit in the 4th. Malone now at 93 pitches, with activity beginning to stir out in their bullpen.
The A's have a really unusual bullpen setup. I'll tell you why right after this. They have 5 left-handed pitchers in their bullpen and only 2 right-handed pitchers.
You've ever seen that?
I can't remember seeing that many. I've maybe seen 3 righties and 4 lefties, but I can't remember ever seeing 2 and 5. There's one of them, Pedro Figueroa. And there's been teams occasionally that will have no left-handers in the bullpen. The Rangers only have 1, 6 righties and 1 lefty. It is very unusual to see 5 of them out there.
Elvis Andrus has also played a little small ball himself. First ball hitting. He grounds out to Weeks. And Andrus now 2 for 4.
Second baseman Alberto Gonzalez.
Only Rangers without a hit. Here's one of them, Gonzalez. Although he lined hard his first time up into a double play. The others are Napoli and Torrealba, but Yorvit has contributed with a walk and a run scored.
Yeah, and for Malone, if he pitches 7 innings, it'll be 7 innings, 9 hits, and 4 runs, which doesn't look all that great. But if you've watched every at-bat, he's actually pitched pretty well tonight. 5 infield hits, including a bunt. And the Rangers have gotten the job done. But I think Malone can feel pretty good about the way he pitched.
Alberto rips that one foul, and it's 1-2. Foul into the 12th sellout of the season, 46,370. It's tied for the third most in Arlington history already. And there goes the bat to end a 1-2-3 seventh. Fourth strikeout for Tom Malone. Needed just 8 pitches. Grilled chicken sandwiches, hot dogs, nachos, peanuts, popcorn, and soft drinks, all for one low price. The all-you-can-eat menu served in the air-conditioned upper home run porch grill. Get your tickets today at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972-RANGERS. Fifth straight game, 7 or more strikeouts, and that ties the longest streak in baseball this season for Yu Darvish, who struck out his 7th. Josh Donaldson to end another 1-2-3 inning in the 7th. Derek Barton yet to strike out. He singled and grounded out. CC Sabathia is Darvish's company. He had 5 straight in April. 7 or more Ks. Barton's ground out produces our Brown hand center great hands of the game.
Nice play by Alberto. Had to get something on the throw. Nice stretch by Brandon Snyder, first base too.
All the stretch Brandon had.
Yep, nice play.
Needed every inch of it. Just laid off, 2-2. And Mike Adams is beginning to loosen with Darvish now at 105 pitches. Not exactly breathing hard, though. High pop, and this will reach the seats. Yu has retired 12 of the last 13. The only exception was his only walk. That was to Weeks in the 6th. Last base hit was a single by Cowgill back in the 3rd. The other hits, Barton singled in the 2nd, and the leadoff double by Weeks. Three and 2. There haven't been many 3-ball counts tonight either.
Almost.
In fact, this is only the 3rd 3-ball count. That is impressive. Seattle and the Indians game is over now, and Cleveland won that 9-3 behind Ubaldo Jimenez. Now 4-3. A rough outing for King Felix Hernandez. Cleveland had 4 on first and went on. 18 pitches in the first. Some very low pitch counts there. And only his second walk as we check in with Jim Knox.
All right, thanks a lot, Dave. Hey, progressive fan of the game. Guess who we have in the house? It's the Australian Olympic swim team. That's right. Love and the Rangers are actually in town training at SMU. But Glenn, the swim coach, you guys love the Rangers so much you wanted to come over and watch the team, right?
That's right. We love the Rangers.
They take off for London for the Olympics in July. Here's the bag. Wear it with pride. Congratulations. Let's go Rangers, right? There we go. Good day, mate.
Yeah, I was waiting for that. Nice, he gives that to everybody. Austrians, Brits.
Yeah, that guy looked like a weightlifting coach.
One on for Anthony Reckers, fly to left and struck out. Rounded hard, just fouled. And no balls and 2 strikes. Record, 18th round pick, 05 out of Alvernia College, originally out of Allentown, Pennsylvania. An all-star in the Pacific Coast League last year. Came up in August, made his major league debut. Mike Maddox has not had to venture from that top spot of the dugout tonight. No pep talks, no discussion needed. Fair ball. Beltrade is second. Not quite for the double play. Record beats out.
That would have been some kind of double play, boy. What a play by Beltrade. Tough to make the play to begin with, and then to throw all the way from the third base line. Let's take a look at it. Backhands it and just throws as he's still going toward the stands with his momentum. Doesn't have time to really plant. Makes an accurate throw. Alberto comes across the bag and guns it to first base. Make it a close play.
Eric Sogard into shallow right, and Cruz has to dive, but he comes up with it.
That was one of those balls that was hit right off the end of the bat. And Nelly's first reaction was to take a step back. But fortunately, it hung up just long enough for Nelly to come in and make the diving play. As an outfielder, you see the big swing, and you think it's going to go somewhere, but because it's hit off the end of the bat, it doesn't. He had to recover to make the play.
A little bit of a hard landing there, but he gets the second out. Definitely worth another look.
And it's another game where you count on the starter to go deep into the ball game, because the Rangers don't have Scott Feldman for a long man tonight. The bullpen's been used a little bit. And Darvish is 1 out away from giving Ron Washington 8 innings tonight.
Jemile Weeks, who has still scored the only Oakland run. First of their 3 hits. Darvish at 115 pitches. He has thrown as many as 121. That was in Detroit when he 2-hit the Tigers through 6 1/3. Next outing, he threw 119 here against the Yankees in the 8 1/3 inning. 7-hit shutout. Got that win 2-0. So common territory for him here. 2 balls and a strike. Line through the hole. Base hit number 2 for Jemile Weeks. The Oakland 8th continues. Record down to second base. To celebrate 40 years of baseball in the Metroplex, Metro PCS and Southwest Airlines are offering a chance to win a trip for 4 to watch your home team play in Los Angeles. Register to win at MetroPCSFlyaway.com. And Ron Washington will make the move to Mike Adams after the 118th pitch of the night. A masterful night for Yu Darvish. $46,370 showing their appreciation. At 18 pitches, 73 for strikes, 7 2/3 innings. 1 run, 4 hits, 2 walks, and again 7 strikeouts. That's one right there to get Donaldson looking at the end of the 7th. Bit of brilliance for the 25-year-old, and now Mike Adams is on.
Yeah, and you still have to remember it's a 4-1 game. It's only a 3-run game with tying runs at the plate. And Johnny Gomes is going to pinch hit for Colin Cogill. And, you know, Gomes is a strikeout threat, but he's also a home run threat. So it's a dangerous guy to be up here. It's been all Rangers so far, but it's still only a 3-run game. So big batter right here for Mike Adams to come in and get.
Adams has been a lot easier for right-handed batters than left-handed batters. Righties 6 for 17, that's 353. Lefties are 5 for 34, 147 overall. 0-1 with a 198 earned run average and a save. And the first pitch in there. Mike, this week battling cold symptoms, ear infection. We saw him breathing hard his last time out. That was the problem. He had the cold moving into his chest, but feeling better. Said today he's almost over it. Gomes pinch hit last night. Grounded out. He is 0 for 3 with a walk as a pinch hitter on the season. Last year, 0 for 28. And now 0 for his last 31 in this role. His last pinch hit August 29th, 2010 against the Cubs.
You know, that even with all that obviously being true, he's still a guy that with one swing of the bat, you make a mistake to him, he can still hit the ball out of the ballpark. So you can't take it for granted. You have to be careful and make the pitch on him.
And the number that Bob Melvin liked, he's 2 for 3 lifetime against Mike Adams. In his career in the pinch, 135. Just low, 2-2.
Well, good pitch. Might not quite have been a strike, but that's where you want to keep it right now. Down and away. Could have been borderline. Would have been a tough call to make, but it was close.
Pitcher to pitcher chat there on the mound. Torrealba out with a word with Adams. A Ranger dominated season series over the last few years. They've won 12 of the last 14 meetings overall with the A's, 7 of their last 8 here. So continuing that. Needing a big out here. And there it is on a strikeout. Adams comes in and continues the pinch hitting woes of Johnny Gomes. No runs, a hit. 2 left. Still 4-1 Rangers. These numbers are up to date, including tonight. Hamilton has surpassed Andrews with the best batting average in the American League for the month of May. Then Austin Jackson in there at the 4-hole. And in the bottom of the 8th, it will be Hamilton leading things off against the lefty reliever Pedro Figueroa. He follows 7 innings from Tommy Malone, 4 runs on 9 hits. He struck out 4, walked only 1. And the line for Darvish now complete. 7 2/3 innings, 1 run, 4 hits, 7 strikeouts, 2 walks. Matchup of 2 5-game winner rookie pitchers. Advantage Darvish, and now on for the 7th time of the year is Figueroa. Figueroa had Tommy John surgery 2 years ago, missed almost all last year. And Josh looking for his 3rd hit of the night. He kicked off the 4-run 4th with an infield hit. First of 3 the Rangers would end up with that inning. Deep drive, center field. Caught up against the wall.
What a catch. Reddick went from right field to center field after Cowgill was pinch hit for. Got turned around just a little bit, but takes an extra base hit away from Josh. Just reaches up right at the end, makes a beautiful play. Right as he went into the wall.
Well, that sounded like a homer, looked like a homer, right up till the very end. So 1 out. And here is Beltre. Big hit of the game, still his 2-run homer following leadoff hit by Josh in the 4th. So it's Reddick in center. Smith has moved from left to right, and Gomes stays in the game, and he's in left field now. Figueroa up from Sacramento April 21st. Major League debut that night against the Indians. Was a scoreless inning. The PCL hit .087 against him at Sacramento. They were 2 for 23. Beltre and then Cruz. And then Joe Nathan very soon with Reddick, Smith, and Kaihue scheduled in the top half of the ninth. Smith racing toward the line, can't quite get there to the foul ball. Barton chased as well from first. Adrian, 7th home run of the year. Opposite field shot, ending with that down on one knee follow through. 371 feet. A's are used to it. He hit 8 out against them last year. It's his 21st career homer against Oakland pitching. Top 4 on their active opponent list. We'll need a moment to walk that off. Right off the instep. How long does that sting when you do that, Tom?
Well, it'll be bothering him for this hole at bat. I know that. It might gradually go away as you get out to the field, but he'll feel it for this at bat. And provided it's not any kind of an injury, it'll eventually go away. Put a little ice on it after the game, probably. Might feel some lingering effects tomorrow when you get to the ballpark, especially since it's a day game. You don't have much of a turnaround.
High drive left field. Gomes had him played just about perfectly.
Just missed it. Got underneath it.
Time to check in with John Radigan.
Hey, Dave, putting the finishing touches on a great program, Rangers Live here. We'll have lots of post-game reaction analysis from Mark McLemore, who will join me here on the set. We'll check back in with you guys. Emily Jones will work the field and the clubhouse for post-game reaction, and we'll listen in to the Yu Darvish press conference after the game, too. So you want to know how you felt about this? Stick around for Rangers Live right after the game, guys.
Look forward to it. He should feel pretty good.
I'm going to guess by his body language when he came off the field that he'll say it wasn't his best. I think he's going to feel that way. He'll probably be upset that he walked the leadoff hitter in the 8th inning and didn't get through the 8th inning. Now, I don't think he's going to say he pitched poorly. But I think he still feels there's a lot more in the tank.
Does he strike you as the kind of guy that's going to say that right up until he pitches a perfect game?
Well, he's striving for excellence, just like all the guys are. I guess no matter how well you do, you can always find some areas that you want to improve in. And yeah, I think he has a lot of that in him. That's good. That's good. It drives him.
Oh, yeah. Well, one thing the Rangers have already discovered about him is no matter how he throws in the bullpen, he always says his bullpen sessions stink. Whether that is actually true or not, that's his own high standard.
Well, he's got a great chance to go to 6-1 and lower his 2.84 ERA after 8 starts. That's, I don't care how he looks at that. That's a good start.
Cruz takes inside for a 2-out walk. Only the second one of those the Rangers have tonight. And it'll bring up Mike Napoli. This week, America's pastime moves to prime time for Baseball Night in America as we bring you 8 straight weeks of baseball's best. And it all starts with an interleague matchup between the regional rivals, the Rangers and the Astros. Baseball Night in America, presented by Chevrolet, begins Saturday, 6 p.m. Central, only on Fox. Down at Minute Maid Park, Derek Holland and Lucas Harrell. Napoli grounded to second in the second. Since then, he has struck out twice. Final game of the homestand, getaway day, tomorrow afternoon. Another deep drive to center. Reddick turned the wrong way initially. Gets to it on the warning track. He hauled in 2 long ones here in the 8th. We go to the 9th. And Joe Nathan time. To you by your Texas Ford dealers. Visit your local Ford dealer and drive the 2012 F-150 Motor Trend Truck of the Year. Ford is the best in Texas. And by the Progressive Insurance Group. For money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. 9th inning, and on is Joe Nathan to face the 3, 4, and 5 slots in the Oakland lineup. Reddick, Smith, and Kahue. Joe 0-2 with 7 saves and a .307 earned run average.
Joe hasn't had a lot of save opportunities. Rangers haven't been on a long winning streak, and when they have won, a lot of the games haven't been close enough to get a save. Great shot at one tonight, though.
He was talking before the game about the different slots he's been used in, just needing to get work in non-save situations. Last night worked the 9th inning. The game the Rangers lost 7-4. So it's something he's done throughout his career. A lot of closers you virtually never see do that, but Whatever he is called on to do, he's ready. Not a surprise if you know anything about Joe Nathan. And he starts Josh Reddick with the strike. Reddick struck out twice. He delivered their run with a sacrifice fly back in the first, his 21st run batted into the year. First time for Reddick ever to face Joe. Ninth inning against Kansas City last night. Gave up 2 hits to Eric Hosmer and Billy Butler. Help a tremendous throw by Hamilton from left field to get Hosmer trying to stretch his single to a double. And he worked in a non-save situation Sunday against the Angels. Gave up a solo shot to Kendrys Morales. That snapped a 9-game streak for Joe without allowing an earned run. Down goes Reddick for the 3rd straight time.
Good fastballs, all 94 miles an hour.
So 1 gone in the 9th as we look at our Chevron matchup tomorrow, 1 o'clock here on Fox Sports Southwest, with the former Ranger Brandon McCarthy trying to continue a terrific start against Matt Harrison. ERA of 2.56 for Brandon. 8th in the league. He's won his last 3 starts. The ERA of 1.31 in that span. Smith is 0 for 3. Flat out twice and grounded out. Curve just missing. Matt Harrison, starter tomorrow, has pitched very well here. That's a strike against the A's. 2 starts. He was 2-0, 1.32 ERA. We'll see him tomorrow.
Great curveball right there by Joe. Smith couldn't lay off it. And a slider. Boy, it's tough to look at Joe right now and see much of a difference between him as a Ranger and him in his heyday as a Twin. Looks like the same stuff to me. Fastball 93 to 95. Excellent curveball, hard slider.
He says that's how he feels.
Yeah, he's back. He's back.
Yeah. Said it since the spring. Repeated it opening day. Last chance for the A's, Kila Kaihue. And he can't catch up to that one at 94. He is struck out and grounded out twice. Former 3rd base coach of the A's. Working on trying to put them 5 games back in the West. Down to their last strike.
96 with that fastball.
Nathan last struck out the side last September 5th against the White Sox. Trying to do it here in a Ranger uniform for the first time. In front of the 12th sellout of the season. 2-2. In Anaheim, Angels got a run in the 2nd. White Sox have matched that in the 3rd 1-1 game. And a Diane Viciedo home run off Jerome Williams. And 3-2.
All over. Nathan strikes out the side, and the Rangers win it 4-1. Yu Darvish improves to 6-1. And the Rangers improve to 24-14. They drop the A's to 19-19. And Texas leads the West by 5 games.
Pretty good relief pitching. Adams and Nathan faced 4 hitters and struck them all out. Fastball. See you later.
So the first meeting of the year goes to the Rangers. They win their 13th out of the last 15 meetings with the Oakland A's. And their 8th out of the last 9 here in Arlington. Malone, the loser, he falls to 5-3. 4 runs on 9 hits. Error-free ball tonight for the Rangers. They left 5, 1 run on just 4 hits, no errors, and the A's left 4. And tomorrow afternoon, the Rangers will go for the 2-game sweep after having that done to them by Kansas City. Down on the field with Elvis, Jim Knotts.
All right, thank you, Dave. I always give congratulations to Michael Young. All right, Elvis, congratulations on the big game. You continue to be red hot at the plate. 2 more hits tonight, RBI. Can you pinpoint the reason your success here in May?
Well, I feel good, right now. I did my time in it, and I'm really focused, and doing my job and doing my same approach. So, I don't try to do too much right now. I just try to, shoot the ball in the middle and just use my hands.
How about the job Yu Darvish did tonight? 7 2/3 innings, struck out 7, also gave up just 1 run. Nice job again.
It is. He's been terrific for us the whole year long, and he's a guy who's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to hit. He has too many pitches, and he can control the pitches. So it's always fun when he's pitching.
All right, Elvis, congratulations on the big night. Appreciate it. Dave?
All right, Noxie. All the runs the Rangers would get tonight in the 4th inning. That's all they needed.
John Radigan and company coming up.